Hello everyone, my name is Nothando. I'm a South African medical student and this is my very first sit-down YouTube video. In today's video, we're diving deep into the real medical school tea. So we're going to be talking about everything that you will not typically find on your university website or on those beautifully edited short clips by medical students, which we love to see. But honestly, today we're taking a deep dive into medical school with a more realistic lens. Quite frankly, we're talking all things that they won't tell you about med school in the South African context, and all things that I honestly wish that I knew before deciding to pursue a career in medicine. Okay. If you're thinking about medicine, you've already been accepted, or you're just a curious medical student, or you're genuinely someone that is curious as to how medicine really looks like beyond the lecture halls in the South African context, this video is for you. Okay. I'd like to start off this video by getting a bit personal, introducing myself, telling you guys who I really am, so that we just get well acquainted with one another and you understand the point of view that I am speaking from. My name is Nothando, as I've said, and I'm an MBCHB2 student at the University of Pretoria. I would like to believe that I've always wanted to be a doctor, simply because I thought that doctors were the coolest person. I still do. I still do think that doctors are the coolest people on earth. They have such amazing jobs. It's a privilege to be able to work with people and to help people and to help improve the quality of their life. I feel like they give up themselves to the service of others, and that is really, really something that I respect and I adore about doctors in general. When I was young, I still am young, but when I was young, I was obsessed with a show called Operation Ouch, right? It was a show by two medical doctors from the UK. They are twin brothers, Dr. Chris and Dr. Zand. And in this show, right, they would speak about things that I've always been curious about, and they would educate me in such a fun and engaging way as a child. They would make me understand so many complex medical things. They made me understand my body and how beautiful science is and how beautiful the human anatomy is, right? So, for example, they'd be like, why do we sneeze? And then go ahead and like explain it and educate me in such an amazing way. And I think they also used to work, or in the show Operation Ouch, they used to feature themselves working at London's, one of the biggest children's hospital in the world that is located in London, and that's where they would deal with kids, and they would also teach us. Like, somebody would get a fracture and they'd be like, have you ever seen someone in a cast? Have you ever wondered what could have happened with them? Well, here's why. And they would genuinely just like educate us. We'd get to also hear from the kids like, oh, I feel better now, or I twisted my hand, I fell from a tree, I felt so much pain. And the doctors would be like, do you know why? Well, this and this happened, this and this ligament was what and what and what and what, and da da da. And it was really so fascinating for me. I was just like, you know what, one day when I grow up, I want to be a doctor. And today I am on the path to being a doctor. Yay. But as we all know, not everything is necessarily rosy, and not everything is what we think is going to be. For example, I had very different expectations of what medical school is really going to look like for me. My expectations were completely different from my reality, right? And today I just want to speak about that. I just want to be the person on the internet that I wish I encountered their video before accepting that offer, before going into my very first lecture in medical school, right? This is my first year of medical school review. So I'm partly going to be using my phone just to reference on the points that I want to make and the things that I want to speak about, so that I don't just go like on a tangent, because sometimes apparently I can speak a lot. I don't know. Okay, so the first thing that I want to speak about is genuinely the culture shock. So I am a township girl, right? I'm from a township that is more or less a village also in Mpumalanga. So when I had to come to a completely different province, a completely different city, to engage with people who come from completely different backgrounds as me, that was really hard for me to just like fit in, to blend well, because where I come from, I was a bit popular in the sense that everybody knew me or everybody knew of me. Now here, literally no one knows me. I have to make the effort to go out there and to introduce myself to people, to interact with people. Everyone was looking so different from me. Yeah, and I came from a school that was like an all-black school, so now I had to engage with people who are of Asian descent, people who are Indian, people who are mixed race, people who are white, people who very, very different people, right? So for me that was a culture shock because I don't know, everything just seemed and felt so different from what I considered to be the norm, from what I considered to be normal. The change was really a shock. So medical school isn't just an academic leap, it's a full-on lifestyle change. You go from being like your high school top achiever, and then you're just surrounded by everyone who is also as equally smart and equally capable as you are. And at first that used to intimidate me a lot because I was just like, I'm no longer the smartest in the room, and that was really hard for me to accept and to come into terms with. But then I just got to realize that if you're the smartest in the room, you're probably in the wrong room, because then there is no room for improvement and development because you know everything, right? So essentially what I had to learn was knowing that somebody knowing more than I do, somebody's intelligence should not necessarily be a threat to me. I should look at that as an opportunity, as to say, what can I learn from this person? What can this person teach me? Exactly, like how can I develop from having access, social access to this person? How can I improve myself? What can I learn? And I think that mindset shift had to come with preparation, right? Because I was now exposed to these people, that mindset shift had to come in, and it was not necessarily easy. But had I known from the get-go that, you know what, something like this is going to happen, where I feel imposter syndrome, where I feel like I'm not good enough, I would have had prepared myself way earlier on, before even the academic year started. So what I want to say is that prepare yourself to not be the smartest in the room anymore. Prepare yourself to not be the individual that knows everything anymore, and don't look at that as a threat. Look at that as an opportunity to learn, as an opportunity to see the world from other people's eyes. I think that is something that is really, really beautiful. But if you're not prepared, it can sort of hit you by surprise. You just need to know and remember that nobody did you a favor for you to come into medical school. You came here because you're equally as smart, you're equally as capable, and I need you to understand that and to let that sit in, that you are just as smart, just as capable, and just as deserving for that spot. Part 2, I'd like to speak on the mental load overall. I think for me, it's just, I realized that it's not about studying for long hours when you're in medical school. It's about investing so many hours into learning how to study all over again. Because trust me, nothing can ever prepare you for medical school, not unless you have pursued a previous degree, you have masters, you have an honors in a science related degree. But if you're coming straight from high school, I need you to understand that you need to learn how to study all over again. And I think for me, it generally took a while for me to relearn brand new study methods, to just learn how my brain functions, to learn how, when, and how I'm able to absorb the maximum amount of information. But also I think that I wish that somebody had told me and reminded me and let it sink in that I am studying towards becoming a doctor, because I think it's only in second year, honestly, when it actually sunk in to say I'm actually studying towards becoming a doctor. So give it your all, give yourself up, give yourself, lose yourself in the service of others, study hard, because not only your future depends on it, but millions and thousands of people's lives literally depends on you studying, and studying well. So just give yourself time. Like, expect that your previous study methods will not necessarily work in this degree, right? And just be open to engaging with your content material, be open to working hard, be open to dedicating yourself, be open to literally sacrificing so many things, die to yourself so that you can live in medicine, but also that needs to have a healthy balance. I wish somebody had told me and reminded me that I am not just accepted into a degree. I'm studying towards becoming a doctor, and I need to act as such. I need to be hungry for information. I need to be hungry to understand how things work, because essentially in the larger scale of things, I think in first year there were a lot of modules like philosophy, like AIM. Well, it's just like, why am I even doing these modules? They're not going to help me into becoming a doctor or anything like that. But believe it or not, you don't know any better than your university. I know. Like, you genuinely think you know it all. You genuinely think like you're so smart, but trust me, you're not smarter than your university. And everything and anything that has been put out there for you to engage with, for you to study, is essentially necessary. It is necessary towards you being a future doctor. So engage with everything, have a positive attitude, have a teachable spirit, be willing to learn, be willing to work hard, be willing to live an uncomfortable life. Study, and understand that you're not just studying, you are studying towards becoming a doctor, baby. Part 3, I'd like to speak on the loneliness that nobody talks about. Ooh, for you to even make it into medical school, you must be a smart person. You must be an academically capable person, to say the least, right? So when you're now complaining to your friends and your family, you're just like, oh, it's too hard, or it's so much work, they are going to say, you can handle this. We know you. We believe in you. You're so smart. Like, nothing can be that hard for you. Like, we know you. And I just want to let you know that nobody is essentially going to understand what you're going through. Nobody is going to understand what really the difficulties that you're dealing with and that you have to face on a daily basis. And hence it is important for you to make it a priority to create a community for yourself. Engage with your classmates, speak to them, put yourself out there, introduce yourself, make friends, exchange numbers, speak to these people, and hopefully friendships are going to yield off of that. This is definitely not easy, because for example, I used to think that I'm such, an outspoken person. I'm an extrovert. I can engage with people. I can start conversations, making friends. That's nothing for me. That's what I used to think until I got into medical school. And then I realized that actually I'm a bit shy. And it was really, really hard for me to make friends. I think I only made friends in the second semester of first year, and that is not good. You need a community for you to get through this. You need like-minded people around you. You need people who are going through the same thing as you around you, so that you don't feel as lonely, especially because medical school can be so isolating. For a good chunk of people, we pursue this degree away from home. We pursue this degree in cities we've never been in, we've never thought we would be in, and now we're leaving there, we're so away from home, and everybody thinks that we're gonna be fine just because we're capable. Yes, we are going to be fine, but sometimes you just need somebody to just listen. Sometimes you just need somebody to just be there. Sometimes you just need somebody who understands exactly how you are feeling, and you can only achieve that through making friends. You can only achieve that through building a community around yourself. In med school, talk to the seniors, talk to them, how did you make friends? How do you think I can put myself more out there? How did you deal with this and that and that? Because trust me, as seniors, we are always ready to give our advices. We are always ready to help FSD. We are always just ready to give our tips and to tell you things that we wish that we knew. We are always ready to share our experiences. People love speaking about themselves, so ask the seniors, engage with your seniors. Hey, how is it for you? How did you do it? How do you think I can do it? Make friends. It is hard, yes, but put yourself out there. Make friends, because that community is what is going to help you through medical school. You're in second year, first semester, block 3, the physiology block. Had I not had friends then, had I not have a friend to study with, had I not had a friend to reach out to and to say, hey, can you please help me with this and this and this and that and that and that, I would have drowned in the workload. But I did not. I survived it simply because I had a community that acted as life support guards. You need that. You cannot do everything you cannot do everything on your own. You need to accept that you are going to need some help at one point or another. You need friends to celebrate birthday outings with. You need friends to laugh with. You need friends to cry with, and you need friends that are like-minded, friends that are going through the same things, friends that are going to understand you, friends that are not going to invalidate what you're feeling, because they are also in the degree and they know how hectic it is. I'm not saying that teach your high school friends or things like that. No, don't teach them. Continue to nourish those friendships. Continue to keep up with those friendships, maintain those friendships, but also you need to understand that you also need medical school friendships that are going to help you to get through some of the darkest days that are yet to come, because a lot of unexpected things could happen. You can lose a loved one, you can fall sick. You are going to need people who are in the same degree, in the same class as you, who are going to be able to support you, not only physically, not only emotionally, but also academically. You need to build a community. I wish somebody told me. Part 4. It is not all doom and gloom. You are going to first year medical school is exciting. You are going to experience exciting moments, moments where you have to travel alone to a whole new different city, or you travel with your family, they drop you off. Moments where you realize that, I'm now an adult, I stay at the rest, I have my own space, no one can tell me anything, moments where you wear your very first pair of scrubs, you're just like, oh my god, I'm becoming a doctor, moments where you just get to write your first test and it actually goes well. Moments where you are having your first time in a lecture hall, you're being taught by people who you never thought you'd be taught by, people who are actually doctors. They're holding your hand, they're leading you through these things. You are going to experience a lot of exciting firsts, and I need you to look forward to that. I need you to understand that medical school is fun, medical school is enjoyable. Life is what you make it out to be. So yeah, with all of that being said and put out there, I need you to know and understand that first year medical school is a different ball. It's exciting, it's overwhelming, it's exhausting. It could make or break you, right? So you just need to be prepared for for that first year, because it is going to set the tone. But also, you know, there's always room to like improving yourself. Like, it's just a constant cycle of self-development. How can I do better in the next block? How can I do better in the next module? It is very exciting. It's an experience like no other. It's something that I wish on you to have a good experience, because it is going to set the tone, right? It is going to lead into intense self-development. I feel like being in medical school has made me so self-aware. I feel like I know and I understand myself better, figuratively and literally. I understand my body way better, I understand my brain way better, but also I understand my mental health way better. Like, I have improved so much. I am more of an organized person now. I am more aware of my mental health. I know now how to take care of myself. I know how to have a good work-life balance. I know how to make sure that I nourish my academics, but also I nourish my friendships. Also, you know, I nourish my physical my physical appearance, because you do not need to look like your problems. And I think in matric I looked like my problems, but now in medical school it has taught me a lot. I have grown so much, and you know, I wish this on you. I wish that you look forward to growing. I wish that you look forward to all of these experiences, because they are going to build you as a person, and most importantly, as a future doctor. So all the best with your journey into medical school. This was all my thoughts, my opinions, my beliefs. You know, take it with a grain of salt, but also look forward to having your own experiences, your own opinions. And yeah, I can't wait to meet you in the next video. Thank you so much for staying till the very end. Until next time, stay steady, stay kind to yourself, and remember, you're doing way better than you think you are.